Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and in today's video, we're going over the second arc of Chainsaw Man. This arc follows Denji on his patrolling mission with Power, which, while they are out, takes a completely unexpected turn for the worse. This results in an extremely intense battle against the main boss of this section of the story, the one and only Bat Devil. I really love this arc as it goes to hint at some of the possible heartbreak and just top tier writing that we are in for throughout the later arcs in the story. But just before we do move forward, if you do enjoy anime and manga explained content, but in a story styled format, then do be sure to hit that subscribe button and also be sure to leave a like on the video, as I intend to try and cover all of the main and largest up and coming stories before they release in anime format. But anyway, enough of that, let's get into the Bat Devil arc from the truly enjoyable series that is Chainsaw Man. Walking through the streets, we find Denji and Power are patrolling. However, Power is having a crisis and screaming out that she is thirsting for blood. She smacks Denji on the head and tells her to let her kill something. Denji ignores her and instead goes on about how his issue is how he is going to touch some of those melons. He then recalls what Makima had told him, that since Power is a fiend, her horns will attract attention, so they must patrol places with little traffic, and if they run into other devil hunters or policemen, to show his public safety badge to them. As Denji thinks about his safety badge, he remembers Makima's speech to him and Power on how the 4th section is an experimental squad, and if it doesn't produce results, their powers might break it up, which would then result in their deaths. As they couldn't find any devils, Power boasts it must be because of how fearsome of a devil she used to be, and how devils run from her scent. Denji then realizes that they can't produce results that way and blames Aki for setting him up with Power. All of a sudden, Power suddenly snaps forward at the smell of blood and starts running, excited for a fight. She jumps from the building and creates a hammer with the blood coming from her wrist. Below her, a fellow devil hunter is seen in a call telling the headquarters that the scene is locked down and the civilians have been evacuated. Power suddenly flies down and crushes the sea cucumber devil, sending its remaining pieces flying in every direction. As she stands up, she starts laughing and screaming for people to gaze upon her glory. Later on, as Makima arrives on the scene, she explains to them that it's an obstruction of justice when a public safety devil hunter kills a devil that a civilian devil hunter had already engaged with. She scolds Power and Denji, telling Power that she needs to think before she acts, and Denji needs to control her more. Makima mentions that Power may not be suitable to be a devil hunter as she gets excited too easily. Hearing that, Power gets scared and says that Denji told her to kill the devil. Denji and Power then start arguing, with Power continuing to blame him and Denji stating that she is a liar. Makima then tells them to be quiet and Power instantly freezes, with Denji catching on slowly after. After getting their attention, Makima says that she doesn't care who was at fault, but she just wants to see big things from them. Later on, Power sees a cat and tells Denji that she can only get along with them. She hates humans off instinct because she used to be a devil, but she also explains that she hates devils because they kidnapped her pet cat, Meowy. She continues explaining that Makima caught her before she managed to save her cat and that it may have already been killed, but she would still do anything to get her cat back. She believes that Denji can't comprehend the feeling she has towards her friend. However, Denji states he doesn't care about cats, but mentions that he will do anything to touch some voluptuous melons. After Power hears this, she asks Denji, hypothetically, that if he retrieved Meowy from the devil for her, she would let him touch her melons. Initially surprised at the idea, Denji immediately changes his attitude towards her and gets angry at the devil that he had kidnapped a poor and innocent kitty. He states that it is unforgivable, and as a devil hunter, he will not allow it to continue, and because of this, he will murder that damn devil. After receiving approval from the HQ for day leave, it's revealed that Power can't go out on her own, and instead always needs a partner. Power says that she knows where they can find the devil, but only Denji would be able to fight him, because if the devil sees her, it would immediately use her pet as a shield. Hearing this, Denji mentions to Power that he used to have a pet devil, and that he now lives inside of him. But Power finds that idea foolish and says that it just means Pochita is dead, and saying he lives inside your heart is just a pathetic attempt at consolation. While the two of them sit there, Denji thinks that there is no way that either of them are ever going to get along. Meanwhile, Makima meets with the higher-ups who inform her of the rumours of the other nations using devils for military purposes and hope that devils remain the only enemy for Japan in the future. They ask her about her dog squad, and she mentions that she has a promising one and an interesting one that she picked out recently. Before she leaves though, she is reminded by them that she must not get attached, as her job is just to train the dogs and use them. Back in the car, Aki asks Makima why she is so interested in Denji, and she explains the devils are born with a name, and the more scary the mental image you have of it, the more powerful they become, or the more powerful they are. A coffee devil would be weak as it doesn't have a scary connotation, but a car devil instead would be strong as the image of getting run over and dying terrifies people. She reveals that Denji can turn into the chainsaw devil. Aki believes that is interesting, but nothing more, and explains that he doesn't have a strong enough conviction. Instead, he just wants to live through life idly. Plus, on top of that, he thinks he can get along with devils, pretty much stating, in Aki's eyes, that he isn't fit for public safety. Elsewhere, Power and Denji arrive at a distant house on a small hill. As they get closer to the house, Denji brings up how she must hide from the Bat Devil, and Power, not completely paying attention, slips up, asking him if that was the setting in a confused manner. Because of this, Denji realized that something was not quite right and attempts to hit Power with his axe, while Power created a blood hammer. However, Denji isn't fast enough and Power manages to avoid his attack and then hits him on the head, knocking him unconscious. Power then drags Denji inside the house, explaining to the devil inside that it took her a while to get outside as she couldn't move freely. She then gives Denji to the Bat Devil as per their agreement. The Bat Devil takes Denji, lifting him up and showing the now awake Denji his missing arm, stating that humans injured him and made him hide, but now he will use this human's blood to heal. He then squeezes Denji like a towel and drinks his blood, regenerating his right hand. But once he drops Denji, he complains of how bad the taste of his blood was, and that he now needs to eat another human to get rid of this bad taste. Inside of the house, Power tells Denji that humans really are foolish for believing her story. Outside of the house now and on the roof, the devil smells the medicine, cigarettes, and makeup on humans and decides to go and eat children as they smell the nicest, which is freaking weird, man. Inside of the house below him though, Power reminds the devil of the deal and requests Meowy back. But sadly, as punishment for bringing disgusting blood, the Bat Devil grabs Meowy and places him onto his mouth, deciding to swallow him. As the Bat Devil swallows Meowy, Power falls into a flashback and remembers how she met Meowy and named the cat. When she found it, it looked skinny, but still tasty, so Power decided to fatten it up before she ate it, and gave her cow milk to grow nice and big. In time, Meowy and Power started to get attached to each other, making Power feel strange as she otherwise had killed everything that she had met. While lying there on the roof of a random house, sadly, the injured Bat Devil then appeared and took Meowy. He told Power to bring him blood or else he would kill Meowy. Seeing Meowy eaten, Power turns to Denji and tells him that she now knows how awful it feels not being able to pat your pet, as he can't pet Pochita anymore. The Bat Devil then picks her up and throws her into his mouth, swallowing her as well. As he notes her disgusting taste, he decides to go and eat some children to rinse out his mouth. While the devil flies towards the city, with the thought that he will be eating, he notices that Denji is clinging onto his leg and drinking his blood, and telling him to give him his melons back. The Bat Devil once again crushes Denji's body in his palm, but this time, Denji manages to tear the kill switch on his chest. In this moment, Denji recalls how he lost Pochita in the past, and the thought that he may have been eaten by a devil. But once he had found him, he was relieved and fell asleep right on the spot. As the crushed Denji hangs there in the hand of the bat, he wonders more about how Power felt the night Meowy was taken by the devil, and as his thoughts continue to race, his chainsaws start protruding from his forehead as he turns into the demonic force of the Chainsaw Devil and starts cutting into the devil's arm that had literally just healed. Denji chases the Bat Devil through the air, slashing at him, completely decapitating the devil's right wing, which sends the two of them crashing through a building. As Denji begins to get up inside of the destroyed building, he notices a young female bystander and yells at her to run away before she gets eaten. After the girl runs away, an angered Bat Devil asks why Denji would let a human get away when he is also a devil. However, not answering this question, and after standing up, Denji immediately sends himself flying through the room while replying that it was so he could split his belly and touch those melons. He slams and punches the devil's face, launching it through a brick wall and out into the middle of a busy street. As Denji follows him outside, the Bat Devil asks aloud if he could cut through this, then proceeds to throw a nearby car at Denji. As the car flies towards the Chainsaw Man, he stands still, not knowing how to stop the heavy vehicle. Suddenly though, as he goes to stop the car with his chainsaws, he discovers that he is able to retract the chainsaws on his arm, and because of this, he successfully catches the car. As the devil admires Denji's strength, he asks aloud, "Why would you use that strength to save humans?" But Denji replies that he couldn't care less about some guy's stupid life and immediately throws the car back at the Bat Devil, slamming it into his face, causing the entire rear of the car to explode. The Bat Devil though, instantly in retaliation after being hit, uses a sonar-like ability that seemingly mangles Denji's body and destroys the surrounding buildings behind him. As the rubble falls, the Bat Devil picks up the helpless driver of one of the previous vehicles in an attempt to eat and devour him. However, the dust cloud suddenly gets blown away, revealing the mangled body of the Chainsaw Man twisting and whipping back together. As Denji takes out his chainsaws once more, he screams in rage that still, even now after being patient, he still hasn't even touched a singular melon, not even once. Seeing the rage seeping out of Denji, the Bat Devil yells at him to stay away. However, as he tries to swing at Denji, the devil gets completely outclassed, having his head, arm, and stomach all cut open or off in an instant, leaving the bat to fall to the ground completely and utterly dead. Inside of the Bat Devil, during a flashback, Power recalls how she was living freely with Meowy and eating animals like cows or bears. But then it all changed when the Bat Devil showed up and stole Meowy. He told her to bring him a human if she wants the cat to live. Flashing forward, initially while running, Power thought that all lives are trivial. It was merely a cat. But then, she wondered, why am I running? Why am I even searching for a human? To save Meowy? She then trips and slams onto the concrete road, causing her to think that it was just a foolish reason. She sits up and realizes that she loves blood. The taste, the smell, feeling death, and then for the first time, recalls. She loves the warmth of the blood and Meowy. In reality, with tears in her eyes, Power then awakens to see Meowy, who along with Power has been freed from inside of the Bat Devil's guts by a now untransformed Denji. Confused and half awake, she then asks Denji why he saved her, even after she tried to kill him. However, a mute Denji only responds by doing his famous chest point and melon squeeze hint, at which she remarks that that is a foolish reason. But as she apologizes for deceiving him, she still states that she will allow him to touch her chest, since Meowy had survived. As Denji tries to unfreeze his brain, he realizes what she had just said and starts celebrating, but within a second of his fist bumping, his arm is suddenly cut off, leaving Denji to scream in pain as a horrid Leech Devil picks up his severed hand in front of him. Denji asks if Power can move, but she cannot. She tells him to take Meowy and run. Hearing this though, Denji decides to fight the devil. He rips on his kill switch, but as his body begins to transform, the sword becomes half stuck in his head, and it is revealed through him that this state is due to a lack of blood. The Leech Devil is angry that Denji had killed her boyfriend, the Bat Devil, but upon taking a closer look at him, she sees that Denji is cute and therefore will allow him to live, but will still kill Power and Meowy. As he hears this though, Denji spits the blood from his mouth and prepares to fight the Leech Devil. He jumps into the sky still one-handed and swings the stump towards the face of the devil. Immediately though, the Leech Devil slices Denji multiple times, leaving Power stunned at how he is actually fighting a devil in this state, just to touch some melons. Denji manages to block a blow and punch the Leech in its face. However, he gets thrown to the floor straight afterwards, which prompts the Leech to question whether the Bat Devil had really been beaten by such a weak person. The Leech Devil says that the bat and her had dreamed of eating humans together, admitting that it is an impossible but sublime and beautiful dream. He continues, saying that it is a shame that a cute face like this is going to die. As he walks forward though, Denji responds confidently that he will not die before he cops a feel. To which the Leech Devil responds that that is a stupid idea and that he won't die to someone with such a sleazy desire. This leads to Denji getting angry as he thinks about how everyone thinks his reasonings are foolish, and in an attempt to do damage, he lunges at the devil, slicing his face partly with his chainsaw. Thinking that everyone looks down on him for the stuff he does, he challenges the Leech to a dream battle. He tells him that if he rips him apart, then that makes his dream worth less than touching some melons. The Leech Devil accepts this challenge, and the both of them go to attack, with the devil telling him to beat him if he can. Denji tries to get in close and has his other remaining arm broken. Still though, he persists. He just barely manages to evade a strike to the face before he leaps into the sky and sinks the small section of his chainsaw he has out into the skull of the Leech Devil. However, as he rips the blade out, it is revealed that the Leech Devil had stabbed Denji through the torso. He goes on to lift the young hunter up to swallow him while thanking him for the meal, when suddenly Aki Hayakawa shows up, using his fingers to summon his utterly insane, yet eye-catching and goddamn dope Fox Devil, which bites the Leech's head, capturing it. Then on Aki's orders, he eats it and devours it, killing the devil. The other newbies of the 4th squad also arrive with Aki, and were then ordered to aid and evacuate the survivors, whilst Himeno, a senior to Aki, is tasked to keep watch for other devils. As Denji is picked up by Aki, he is told that him and Power are to be taken for a debriefing, whilst Meowy is to be taken to a veterinarian hospital for a full checkup. Denji wakes up in a hospital bed and sees Aki peeling an apple. He tells him that they found his arm and that it reattached itself when he got a blood transfusion, also commenting that Denji is really like a devil. Denji responds to this by telling him that he was talking with a devil himself. Though Aki explains that this is how devil hunters fight, by making contracts with devils. Aki states that he has a contract with a fox devil. He exchanges a part of his body for the fox's power. This time he let the fox feed on part of its skin for killing the Leech Devil. Aki says that devils always desire the death of humans, and the same goes for fiends. Denji responds though by stating that Power is a good fiend. However, Aki catches Denji in a lie and states that they caught Power and Denji leaving the patrol area, and that they also found Denji's blood in what they presume to be the Bat Devil's hiding place. He asks him why he still sympathizes even after she tried to kill him. During the mini battle over the apple slices, Aki tells Denji that if he further investigated the incident, he would get Denji and Power put down. But since there were no casualties, Aki states that he would overlook the entire incident on one condition: that Denji obeys Aki's commands from now on. He continues telling him that he's a dumb kid with no morals, and that he's been doing this for much longer than he has, so he'd like to think that he stands for some sort of social justice. So just do as he says, and Denji will be able to protect the standard of life that he currently has now. After a short pause, Denji agrees to this, telling him not to worry as he doesn't have any grand goal, but he will take things just as seriously as Aki does, so he can count on him big time. Aki then bows and leaves the room, asking Denji to learn to speak with some kind of respect, to which Denji says that he will consider. Outside of the room, Power stands there in handcuffs with Himeno by her side. Power states that she is innocent and demands to be let go. Not sure if this is the right thing to do, Himeno asks if it is a wise idea to free her, since if she kills anyone, it would be on Aki. But as Hayakawa frees her, he says that they are devil hunters and should make use of all the tools at their disposal. Though he enforces that enemies are enemies and they are only using them with no intention whatsoever of ever being friendly with one. Later on, as time flies forward, Power is seen entering Aki and Denji's apartment, noting the cramped place that they have. Stunned, Aki calls Makima asking why, and she responds by saying that she trusts him more than anyone, causing Aki to blush and agree. Makima tells him that Power said she would be good, so it'll be fine. However, instantly after the call ends, Power is seen to be visibly disgusted by the vegetables in her food. Because of this, she throws them across the room, and both Denji and Aki shout at her for throwing the vegetables away, telling her that it is extremely disrespectful to the farmers who grew them. After eating, Power states that she's the type who seldom bathes and seldom flushes turds. She laughs at them for being so sensitive, wondering what the big deal even is. Later in the day, we find an angered Denji who has to clean the toilet himself due to Power. Power then enters the toilet and tells the angry Denji that she will now allow him to touch her chest, as they had a deal and she intends to honor it. As Denji looks down on Power, who's sitting atop the toilet, she asks him what is he waiting for and to touch away, which causes Denji to have a complete and utter change in emotions, calling Power an angel. While Denji shakes, Power tells Denji that he gets 3 squeezes, one for saving Meowy, one for killing the bat, and 3rd for protecting her from Top Knot. She reveals that originally she wouldn't have allowed him to touch her melons, but because of what had just happened, she has changed her mind in an effort to repay his efforts. Denji makes his first squeeze, which makes Power blush, but weirdly, Denji feels that something just isn't right, and he sees something fall onto the ground below her. Power picks them up and explains that those are her melon pads, which make her overall chest size larger. Denji is a bit shocked at the idea, but proceeds either way with a second and then final squeeze. And as Power celebrates that it is over, Denji is left standing there speechless. He thinks to himself that he has so many things he wants to say, but overall, it all just fell flat. Being square now, Power tells Denji that he is lucky to touch something so nice and that she looks forward to working with him in the future. However, she continues saying that she no longer needs to be a devil hunter as Meowy is safe, but as she can't escape Makima, she will do him a favor and help him with his jobs. Once she leaves for bed, Denji stands there, feeling disappointed and empty. Later on, he does paperwork with Makima, who notices that something is wrong with him. He reveals to her that he finally accomplished a dream of his that he had been chasing for a long time. But once he finally had it in his hands, it just felt disappointing. Denji now wonders if it will feel disappointing too for other dreams he will accomplish, and if he would be happier chasing dreams instead of achieving them. Makima asks directly what he is talking about, and Denji reveals that the first set of melons he ever touched turned out to be no big deal, which had fallen completely flat of his expectations. For a moment, Makima looks at him. Then she takes his hand and explains that she believes naughty things feel better the more you know your partner. As she explains this, she touches his hand, saying, "It's difficult to understand another's heart. So first, take your time studying her hands, her fingers." She grabs his hand and places it on her ear, continuing and saying, "How are her ears shaped?" As she bites his finger, she asks if he had ever had it bitten before. She then tells him to memorize just how it feels, know it so well that even if you lost your sight, you'd recognize her by bite. She then grabs his hand and places it on her melon, which makes Denji blush and fall back in his chair, crashing to the floor. Makima gets close to him, so close that they almost make contact, and she asks him for a favor. Makima sits back in Denji's chair and asks him to defeat the Gun Devil. While a confused Denji stands there, she explains that the Gun Devil appeared 13 years ago and his location is currently unknown. He is a powerful devil that all the devil hunters are anxious to kill, but she believes Denji is special and would be able to do it. Makima then tells Denji that if he kills the Gun Devil, then she will grant him any one wish, whatever it be that he desires. Well, that officially brings us to the very end of the second arc of Chainsaw Man, the Bat Devil arc. So if you guys have enjoyed this video and are new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also be sure to leave a like on the video. But this arc honestly is damn amazing, and I'm super excited to see kind of what happens later on in the story. I can see it setting up to kind of give us some extremely emotional points that we're going to, going to have to like try and get through later on in the story here, between Makima and between Power and Denji and Makima, and between, just all 3 of them so far. Like, I don't even know half the characters that have been introduced probably yet, but I can already feel some kind of, you know, heartbreak that is going to happen in the future, as I've been warned from plenty of people. But I can see it setting up for it kind of almost perfectly at the moment. So I'm super excited to actually get more into this story. I'm going to try and have the next arc, which is the Eternity Devil arc, out by, well, this time next week, so in the next 7 days. Hopefully I'll have it out sooner. I'm also going to have another video up in the next few days as well, so look forward to that. If you guys are interested, it'll be Jujutsu Kaisen one. When it comes to the other explained video arc stories that I'm doing, I'm going to try and focus on Chainsaw Man for a little bit and get a few arcs ahead. So I'm probably going to, you know, do the Eternity Devil arc, and then I think it's the Gun Devil arc after that. I'm not 100% sure. It might be the Katana Man arc. I think that might be after the Eternity Devil arc. I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section below. I'm still reading my way through. I've just finished the Eternity Devil arc, so I'm super excited to actually get into it now and like start talking about it as well, which is probably what I'm going to do, honestly, after I end this recording right here. And honestly, I just want to say thank you for all of the support recently. It has been amazing, you know, like no matter what series I seem to do, you guys are still like super interested and want me to constantly, you know, like try and finish that series off or try and finish the series off. So I'm going to try and, you know, like do my best to get them out as quickly as I can. But it's extremely hard with the amount of editing that just goes into, say, like a half-an-hour video or like a half-an-hour long video like this one. So, you know, I appreciate all the help and all the support that you guys have been giving me, you know, like over on Patreon and in the comments down on here. So obviously, you know, thank you to my Patreons as well. But for now, it's been your professional degenerate Diavolo, and I will see you all in a bit. Bye.